Hello students, let us discuss module 3. Okay, in Python programming language we have 6 built-in data structures, that is strings, list, dictionaries, tuples, sets and frozen sets. In this particular module we will discuss 3 data structures like list, dictionaries and tuples under separate 3 chapters, and last chapter we are discussing about the regular expressions. While developing the application using the Python or while writing the any program using the Python, we may come across the operations like splitting, finding or searching, extracting, etc. To perform these operations in Python, we have one powerful library, that is regular expressions. Okay, in last chapter, we will discuss about the regular expressions. First, we will discuss about the list. Like a string, a list is a ordered sequence of values, but in a string the values are only characters. In list they can be any type. Any type means that may be the integer or float, string, or it may be the list, tuples or dictionaries. The values in list are called elements, or sometimes we can call that as items. Now elements of list we have to enclose within a square bracket. Okay, here we have two list example. First list that contains 4 integer values and second list that contains 3 string values. Now we can create this list in different ways. In first method, directly you can enclose the values inside the square bracket. In second method, you can assign list value to the variable. For example, here variable name is ls1. Now for that we are assigning 4 list values, that is integer type. Again second list, that is ls2. Okay, here we are assigning 3 string values. That means here we are just naming that list. First list name is ls1, again second list is ls2. Another type, we can use the built-in method list to create the list. Okay, here just pass the argument for that particular built-in method. Okay, that list, that is one of the constructors used in Python. Just pass the argument for that list method. Okay, suppose if you want to display the value of that list, you can just use the print function. Now the elements of the list do not have to be same type. Okay, that elements or items of that list that may be under any type. Okay, here we have the example. First element, that is the string, second one is the float, again third value is integer type, last value that is again list. Okay, now suppose a list within another list we can call as the nested list. Okay, this is nested list. Okay, suppose if the list does not contain any elements, then we can call that as the empty list. Empty list that just contain the square bracket. Now again this empty list we can create in two ways. One is directly assign that square bracket to the variable. Again second type you can just call the built-in method list without passing any arguments. Okay, here suppose if you want to check the data type of that empty list or any list, you can just use the type built-in function, type and pass the variable name. It will just return the data type, that is list. Here also data type, that is list. Here we have one more example. Okay, here we have 3 lists. First list that contains the string values, second list numbers that contains the integer value, again third list that is the empty list. Suppose if you want to display the value of these 3 lists, you can use the print function and just pass the list name. Okay, it will just display the values of that 3 lists. Okay, now how we can access the elements of that list, or how we can access the items of that particular list. Now list can be accessed using the numeric index. Here we will just use the indexing or index to access the individual elements of that list. Okay, here we have the example ls list that contains 4 elements, that is the integer value, again string value, third one is the nested list, and fourth value that is the negative number. Okay, now suppose if we give ls of 1, okay, that means in 0th index we have 34, first index we have the value high, Again, second index we have the nested list. In third index we have the value 5. Okay, that is same as your array. Okay, now if you give ls of 1, print ls of 1, it will just print high. Again, if you give print ls of 2 values that is present in the second index, it will just display the inner list. Now suppose if you want to access the values of inner list, then here we have to use the double indexing method. For example, if you want to access the value of this inner list 2, 3, okay, then use the double indexing method. Okay, here first index that indicates the position of that inner list in outer list. Again, second index that indicates the values of position of that particular values in inner list. 2, 0 means, okay, 2 position of this list. Again, 0 means first value, that is 2. Again, 2, 1 means 2, that is position of this inner list. Again, 1 means that is values inside the inner list, that is 3. Here we are using the double indexing method. Next, lists are mutable. One main property of this list, that is mutable. Okay, mutable means we can just change the order of items, or we can reassign the list values, or you can just modify the list values. Okay, that property we can call as the mutable. But strings are not mutable. Once if you assign the values for that particular string, later we cannot modify that values. Okay, here we can modify the content of that list. Okay, now to modify the content of that list, we can write the square bracket in left side. Okay, that is one method. Okay, that bracket operator that appears on the left side of an assignment, it identifies the elements of the list that will be assigned. For example, in this example we have 4 elements, 34 high, then nested list 2, 3, then again 5. Suppose if you want to change the value of this value that is present in the second index, okay, then you can just use that index number ls of 2 equal to hello. Okay, now if you try to print the value of that list, it will just display 34 high, hello and 5. Okay, now this value that is modified. Now to access the values of that particular list, or to access the elements of that list, we are using the index number. So there is a relationship between indices and elements. This relationship we can call as the mapping. Okay, that is each index that maps to one of the elements in a list. Here to extract the elements of that list, we are using the index. Now that index, that may be any integer expressions. Okay, for example, okay, suppose if you give ls of 2 into 1, ls of 2 into 1, it will just display the value 2, 3. That is, in the second index we have this nested list, it will just display that value. Okay, that means 2, 1, that is one integer expression. Suppose if you give 3 into 1, that is 3. Okay, in this particular case it will just display the value -1. Any integer expression we can use as index. Okay, again negative indexing counts from backwards. While extracting the values from that list, you can use the negative index also. Okay, suppose if you give -1, okay, it will just display the value -5. Okay, because -5 index from backward, that is -1. Again this nested list index, that is -2. Again this high index, that is -3 from backward. Okay, suppose if you give print ls of -3, it will just display the high. Okay, now suppose if you attempt to access non-existing index, it will just throw an index error. So here print ls of 4, ls of 4 not present in this list, so it will just display index error, list index is out of range. Okay, here along with this list we can use one more operator, that is in, to check whether that particular item or element that is present in the list or not. For that you can use the in operator. This in operator, it will just return the value true or false. Suppose if that element that is present in the list, it will return true. Otherwise this in operator, it will just return the value false, because this b that is not present in the cheeses, so it will just return the value false. Now how we can traversing a list? A list can be traversed using the for loop. Okay, if you want to access or if you want to read all the elements of that list, you can just use the for loop and in operator. For example, here we have 4 items in list. Okay, if you give for item in list, then it will just read all the elements of that list. Print item means it will print all the elements of that list. Suppose if you want to write or update individual elements of that list, then we have to use the index number. Okay, for example, okay, here we have one program. Okay, in this particular program, we are just displaying the square of a given list or square of given elements. Okay, here we are using 2 methods, that is range method and the length method. Okay, that length method, len method, it will just return total number of elements that is present in the list, and range method, it will just read the values from 0 to that particular range. Okay, here length method, in this example len method, that will return 4. Again here we have the range function. Okay, range function, it will just read the value from 0 to n minus 1. 0 to n minus 1. Here n value is 4, so from 0 to 3, it will just read the values from the index number 0 to 3. Okay, for I in range, len of ls, then ls of I to the power 2 equal to ls of I. That means we are just reading the individual element of that list and we are just calculating the square of that item and store that result in the list index ls of I. Okay, here you'll get the output 1496, that is square of these numbers. That means here to update or to modify the individual elements of that particular list, we have to use the indexing. Okay, suppose if the list is empty list, it never execute the body of that for loop. Okay, here in this example empty, that is the list name, that does not contain any elements, so it won't execute or it won't print this particular statement. It won't execute the for body of that for loop. Okay, now although a list can contain another list, or suppose that contains nested list, the list, it will just count it as the single element. Okay, for example, here we have string element, again here we have integer element, again we have nested list and one more nested list. Okay, here suppose if you use the length function, length of that particular list ls, now it will return the value 4. Okay, it will just consider that nested list as one single element. Okay, next we will discuss about the list operations. Okay, Python allows to use operators plus and star on lists. Okay, here we have plus operator that is used for the concatenation. Okay, for example, list A that contains 3 items 1, 2, 3. List B that contains 3 items 4, 5, 6. Suppose if we give C equal to A plus B, okay, in this particular case it will just concatenate the content of list A with elements of list B. Okay, here you will get the output like 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. That is concatenation of list A and B. Again, star operator repeats a list a given number of times. That means, okay, here suppose if you want to repeat the items of that list, you can use the star operator. Okay, here 0 star 4 means, okay, that list that contain one element 0, it will just display or print that 0 4 times. Again 1 2 3 star 3 means 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 3 times. It repeats a list given number of times. List slices. Okay, like strings, we can use the slice operator in list also. Slice operator means square bracket, then here we have the colon, then close square bracket. Okay, here this slice operator that contains three argument or three parameter. First one is the start value, again second one is the end value, and last parameter that is the step. Start, end and step. Okay, now suppose if you want to extract the full list without using any index but using only the slicing operator, you can just write print t of inside the square bracket, just write the colon, and t contains the elements a, b, c, d, e. Okay, it will just print all the elements of that particular list. Okay, we are not passing any parameter, it just giving one colon. Next, extracting elements from second position. Okay, second position, you can just give the command like t of 1 then colon. Okay, that means it will, here we have the 0th index, b first index, second index, third index and fourth index. It will just start from, by default it will start from 0. Okay, here we are just starting the values from the first index. Okay, next, extracting first three elements. Okay, here we are not passing the parameter for the first argument. Okay, we are just using the second end value we are giving. Okay, so here colon then 3 means it will just start from 0 till third position. Okay, so 0 1 2. It won't consider the value that is present in the third index. Okay, here selecting some middle elements, you can just select the middle elements from list. Here we are using two parameters, that is t of 2 colon 4 means from second index to fourth index. It won't consider the value that is present in the fourth index. 2 to, it will consider the value 2 to 3 excluding this fourth, excluding the value that is present in the fourth index. Okay, then again to access the values in slicing operator, you can use the negative indexing also. Print -2 colon -2. That means okay, here this position that in this position that is -1. Again this position is -2. Till -2 it will access the values. Okay, next, reversing a list using the negative values for steps. Okay, here first parameter we are not passing, again second parameter we are not passing, under step we are just passing the value -1 so that it will just print the list in reversing order. Okay, again you can just modify the content of that list. Here we can give only the required set of values. For example, 1 to 3, index number 1 to 3, you can just assign the value p and q. That is, for index number 1 we are assigning the value p, again for index number 2 we are assigning the value q, excluding 4, excluding the index number 3. For 1 we are assigning the value p, again for 2 we are assigning the value q. We are not considering the index number 3. Till 3 we are assigning the values. Okay, next we will discuss about the list methods. Here we have huge number of list methods are available under Python. Okay, under that first method, that is the append. Append adds a new element to the end of a list. For example, here we have the list T with elements A, B, C. If you give T dot append, that means we are appending the value to the list T. that value, new value, that is D. Suppose if you try to print the value of that list T, it will just display A, B, C, D. D is the new value appended to that particular list T. Again, one more method, that is extend. Extend takes a list as an argument and appends all the elements. Okay, here also you can just append the values to the list, but here we are just considering taking that argument as list. Okay, for example, in T1 we have the values A, B, C. Again in T2 we have the elements D, E. For T1 we are appending the values using the extend function. That which value we are appending, that is content of T2. Now if we give print T1 ABC, that is content of T1, again DE, that is content of T2. Okay, now what is the difference between this extend and append? Okay, in both the cases we are appending the values to the list, but we have slight difference between in this particular case. For example, here append, we have the list ls1 having the values 1, 2, 3. Again we have the list ls2 having the content 5, 6. Now ls2 dot append ls1 means, okay, it will just consider this ls1 as one parameter. ls1 as one parameter or one item. Okay, now here if you try to print the values of ls2, it will just print 5, 6, that is content of ls2, because for ls2 we are appending. Again 1, 2, 3, that is the inner list, that is the content of ls2. It will just consider this ls1 as one item, right? But in extend, ls2 content, that is 5, 6, and ls1 content, that is 1, 2, 3 only. Okay, now ls2 dot extend of ls1. Okay, now that content of ls2, that is 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Okay, here it will in extend it will consider this as elements, but here in append it will just consider that as one single item. So here we have the inner list inside the, or we have the nested list inside the outer list, but here we have the continuous elements, that is 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. It won't consider this as one list. Okay, next method, that is the sort method. Sort method arranges the elements of the list from low to high. For example, T that contains the characters, T dot sort means it will just sort these characters in ascending or alphabetical order. Okay, this method in Python, almost all the methods is having the void return type, so they modify the list and return none. Okay, some more example under the Python methods. Under that first one, reverse. This method can be used to reverse the given list. For example, ls is having the value 4316. ls dot reverse means it will just print the values, or it will just reverse the content of that particular list. And if you print ls content, it will just print 6134. That means it will just reverse the elements of the given list. Now again one more method, count. This method is used to count number of occurrences of a particular value within a list. How many times that elements that is present in the list, it will just count that. Okay, here 2 that is present in that list 3 times, so it will just display the value, return the value 3. Clear, this method removes all the elements in the list and makes the list as empty list. Okay, for example, ls is having the 3 values 1, 2, 3. ls dot clear means it will just clear all the elements of the list. Insert. Okay, in this insert method used to insert a value before a specified index of the list. Okay, here ls insert 1. 1 is the index number before 1. Suppose if you want to insert the value or element high, you can use ls insert then 1 comma high. So it will just insert the element high before first index. Okay, this method is used to get the index position of a particular value in a list. Okay, suppose here if you give ls dot index of 2, that is index value of the element 2. Okay, now index position of that 2, that is 1. Okay, even though that 2 is present 2 times in that particular list, it will just consider the index of the first occurrence of that element. If the value is not present in the list, then it will just throw the value error. For example, ls dot index 53, that is not present in the list, so it will just display the value error 53 is not in list. Next, how we can delete the elements? Okay, we can delete the elements of that list in different ways. One method, suppose if you know the index, if you know the index of the element, if you want to delete, then you can just use the pop function with index number. Okay, and t, that is having 3 elements a, b, c. Again t dot pop of 1. Okay, it will just delete the element that is present in the first index. So if you print that again, here this pop function, it will just return the value, which value it has deleted. It will just return that value. Print of t, in t list we have only 2 elements after deleting, that is a and c. Suppose if you try to print the value of x, returned value, it will just return the value b. Suppose if you don't provide the index number, this pop method, then it will just delete the last elements and returns the last element that has deleted. Okay, for example, okay, here this method deletes the last element in the list by default. Here in the list we have 5 elements, that is 3, 6, minus 2, 8 and 10. X equal to ls dot pop means it will just remove the last element and it will just assign the deleted element to the variable x. Okay, here print ls means it will just print the remaining element that is present in the ls list after deleting. Okay, print x means it will just display the deleted element. Okay, some more methods to delete the elements of the list. Okay, here we have one operator, that is delete operator. del operator is used to delete the elements of the, or suppose if you want to delete more than one element at a time, you can just use this delete operator. For example, here ls some values, that is here we have 5 values. Okay, now delete ls of 2 means it will just delete the value that is present in the second index. Okay, that is minus 2. So after deleting the content of ls, that is 3681. Okay, next deleting all elements from the index 1 to 3. Okay, here you can give delete ls 1 colon 4. Okay, it will just delete the elements that is present in the index number, index 1, index 2, index 3 till 3, excluding the 4. So remaining elements that is present in the list, that is 3 and 1. Okay, it will just delete the element 1, index element that is present in index number 1, 2 and 3. So remaining element, that is 3, 1. Deleting all odd indexed elements of a list. Okay, here we can just start, we can just delete all the elements, odd indexed elements. Okay, for that you can just give the operator or command like t1, then colon, then again one more colon. That means we are not specifying the second parameter, that is the end parameter. Okay, next parameter in the slice operator, there is this step. Okay, that means it will just consider all odd indexed elements. So okay, here we will get the output like, okay, a comma c comma e. That means it deleted the element that is present in the first index. Again third index. Remaining elements are A, C and E. Okay, next method, it's remove method. We don't know the index, but we know the value to be removed. Then we can just use the remove method. Okay, remove 34. Okay, means we don't know the index value of this 34. Just remove the value or element 34. After removing, in list we have the values, or we have the elements 5, 8, 12, 2. Okay, again this remove method also, it will remove only the first occurrences of the specified value but not all occurrences. Okay, for example here that 34 that is present 2 times, so it will just delete the first occurrence of that 34. So here we have the output on in list after deleting in list that contains 5, 8, 12, 2, 6 and 34. Okay, here this remove function also will not return the value that has been deleted, same, but here a pop function it will just return the deleted value, but remove function it won't return the deleted value, it will just modify the list, that's it. Okay, here one more example. To remove more than one element you can use DL operator with slice index. Okay, here we are just deleting the items that is present from first list to fourth list, first index to the fourth index. We are not considering the element that is present in the fifth index, so it will just delete these elements, and in finally in list we have only 2 values, that's A, F. Okay, next we will discuss about the list and functions. Okay, here in list we have a number of built-in functions that can be used on a list that allow you to quickly look through the list without writing your own loops. Okay, for example, some example for the built-in functions, len. Okay, this len function, it will just return total number of elements that is present in the list. Okay, second function, that is max. Okay, it will just return the maximum element of that particular list. Minimum it will return the minimum element. Again sum, it will just add all these elements and return the sum. Again you can, here in this line you can just calculate the average of that given elements. Okay, sum of numbers, number is list name, divided by total length of that list, number of elements that is present in the list, so that you will get the average. Without writing any loops directly, we can use these built-in functions to get the output. Okay, here is one example how we can use that sum and average one program. Okay, initially we are just creating one list, num list. Okay, and initially that is the empty list, and here read the input from user and store that in one variable inp. Suppose inp equal to done, then stop the execution, otherwise read the input and just perform the type conversion. Here we are just converting that input to float type and store that in one variable value. Then one by one we have to append the elements to the num list. For that, here we are using the append method. Read the value, read the input, convert that to float, then just copy that value to the list. Initially that num list that is empty, you can just append any number of values for that list. Then finally just find the average of that list. For that, calculate the get the number of elements that is present in the list and calculate the sum of that list. Sum divided by length will get the average. Hello students, in previous session we have discussed what is list, how we can create a list, and how we can extract or modify the elements of list and different list methods. Okay, in this session we will compare list and strings. We know that both string and list are ordered sequence of values, but they are not same. In string that contains only sequence of characters, but list data can be any type. Now to convert string into a list, we can use one method, list. Okay, here we have a string yes equal to hello. The method list, it will break a string into individual letters, and finally it will construct a list. Okay, here list method, it will just break the string into individual characters, and it will assign or store that result in another list variable ls. If you give ls of print of ls, it will display elements of that list. Now, if we want a list of words from a sentence, we can use another method, that is split method. Okay, here s equal to hello, how are you? That is one sentence, and here we are applying the split method for string yes. Now, final output will get the elements of list that contains hello, how are you. When no argument is provided to the split function, it takes delimiter as white space. Okay, here we are not passing any argument for the split function, it will just take white space as delimiter. Okay, after hello and how, we have in between hello and how we have one white space. So it will just consider that white space as delimiter. Now, if we need a specific delimiter for splitting the line, we can pass that as parameter to the split function. For example, here we have the variable dt with the data 23/2018, that is day, month and year. Here we are using applying the split function for this variable dt along with the parameter /, and it will just split the given string based on the delimiter. Final output will be 20, that is in 0th index, 03, that is in first index, and 2018, that is in second index. Okay, here we can use one more method. We have one more method, that is join. Join is the inverse of split. This join, which behaves opposite to split function, it takes a list of strings as argument and joins all the strings into a single string based on the delimiter provided. Okay, here we have list with elements hello, how are you, and we are giving the white space as delimiter. Based on that delimiter, it will just create a single sentence or single string. Okay, final output, that is one single string. Okay, next topic, parsing lines. Okay, in many situations, we would like to read a file and extract only lines containing required pattern. Okay, this is known as parsing. Here we will discuss that with the example. Let us assume that there is a log file containing details of email communication between employees of an organization. Again, for all received mail, the file contains these particular lines, that is from, word from, then we have the email ID, then we have day, then month, then time, then finally year. Okay, here maybe this is mail received by one employee. Again, second line, that is maybe mail received by some other employee. Again, that log file, it may also contain some other information, for whom that mail has been sent, etc. We are interested in knowing which days that mail have been received. Okay, now to extract that day, okay, this is the code. Here all received mails start from the word from. Okay, here first mail, again here we have this second mail, both the mails that start with the word from. Hence we search only such lines here we have the function line start with from. We search only such lines and then split them into words. Next, after searching that particular line, we are just splitting that line into words. Okay, here we can observe that the first word in the mail, that is from, and second word that would be the mail ID, and third word that is the day of week. Third word that is the day of week. Hence we will extract word of two. Word of two, that is the third word. Okay, in this particular method we can just extract only the lines that contains required pattern or that contains only day. Okay, final output of this code, that is this one. We will discuss how objects and values are used in Python. Whenever we assign two variables with same value, the question arises whether both the variables are referring to same object or different object. For example, here we have a variable a and we are assigning string banana to that. Again we have one more variable b. In that variable also we are storing the same data banana. We know that a and b both refer to a string. But now the question is whether both a and b refer to the same string. Okay, there are two possibilities. Okay, in the first situation, a and b are two different objects but containing the same value. The modification in one object is nothing to do with other. Whereas in the second case, okay, here both a and b are referring to the same object, that is a is an alias name for b. In other words, these two are referring to the same memory location. Now, to check whether two variables referring to the same object or not, we can use is operator. Okay, in this example, a equal to banana. Again, in b also we have the same string banana. A is b, it will just return the value true because a and b both are referring to the same string. Now, Python only created one string object and both a and b refer to it. Actually, strings are interned by default in Python. Okay, that is when two string literals are created in Python program with the same value, they are going to refer to the same object. But when you create two lists, you get two objects because lists are not interned. Hence, in this example, a equal to list contains the values elements 1, 2, 3. Again, in b equal to 1, 2, 3. Now, if you try a is b, then it will just return the value false because a and b that referring to the different objects. Now, when two variables are referring to the same object, they are called as identical objects. When two variables are referring to the different object but contains the same value, they are known as equivalent objects. If two objects are identical, they are also equivalent, but if they are equivalent, they are not necessarily identical. Okay, for example, here in A we have hi, again in B we have string hi. A is B, it will just return the value true. Again A equivalent B, here also it will return the value true. And that is in string. Okay, but in list, ls1 is having the value 1, 2, 3. Again in ls2 we have a element 1, 2, 3. ls1 is ls2. Okay, for that it will return the value false because ls1 and ls2 refer to the different object. But ls1 equivalent ls2, okay, in that it will just return the value true. So, if two objects are identical, they are also equivalent, but if they are equivalent, they are not necessarily identical. Okay, what is aliasing in Python? Alias is a second name for a piece of data. When an object is assigned to other using assignment operator, both of them will refer to the same object in the memory. For example, here we have a list A with values 1, 2, 3. We are assigning the value of A to B, and suppose if you execute the command B is A, okay, then that output will be true because A and B, that both are pointing to the same memory location. And the association of a variable with an object is called as reference. Okay, for example, here B is said to be reference of A. Other words, there are two references to the same object in the memory. The object with more than one reference has more than one name. So we say that object is aliased. If the aliased object is mutable, changes made with one alias affect to the other. Okay, for example, suppose if you have a list A with values 1, 2, 3 and copy the value of A to or assign the value of A to B. Okay, now suppose if you write the command statement like B of 0 equal to 17. Now here in this particular case it will change the value of A, again it will change the value of B. If you print the value of A, you will get 17, 2, 3. Again in B also you will get the same value 17, 2, 3. Okay, actually strings are safe in this regard because they are immutable. We cannot modify the values of strings. Okay, now we will discuss what will happen suppose if you pass list as an argument. When a list is passed to a function as an argument, then function receives reference to this list. Hence, if the list is modified within a function, the called will get the modified versions. Okay, for example, here we have a function delete head and we are passing t as parameter, and inside that function we are just using the delete operator, del operator, to delete first element of the list. Again here we have the list letters that contains three elements A, B, C, and we have the function called delete head, and here we are just passing that list name as argument. Now after calling this function, it will just delete the first element of that particular list, that is A. Okay, now suppose if you try to print the value of that list, okay, here we will get the output B and C. Here the argument letters and parameter t both are aliases to the same object. So before passing the list as an argument, we should understand that which operation will modify the list and which operation will create the new list. For example, the append function modifies the list and plus operator creates a new list. Okay, here we have two examples. In the first example we are using the append function. Again second example we are using the plus operator. Okay, in first example we have the list T1 and that has two elements 1 and 2, and we are appending one new value 3 to T1 using the append function. T1 dot append of 3 means we are appending value or element 3 to the list T1 and we are assigning the result to another list or another variable T2. Okay, suppose if you print the value of T1, okay, here we will get the output 1, 2, 3. Okay, again if you print the value of T2, here we will get the value none. That means T1 and T2, that is not same. Nothing is there in the list or variable T2. Same way here in the plus operator. Okay, we have the list T1 that has two values 1 and 2, and we are just concatenating the value 3 or element 3 to this list T1, and we are assigning the result in or storing the result in another variable T3. Okay, now suppose if you print the value of T3, you will get the output 1, 2, 3, and if you try to check whether T2 is equal to T3, it will just return the value false. Okay, in this example T3 is new list. After concatenating it will create the new list, but here in append function it will modify the original list. Here, after applying append to T1 object, T1 itself has been modified and T2 is not going to get anything. But when plus operator is applied, T1 remains same but T3 will get the updated result. So, before using this list, we should understand such differences when he or she creates a function intending to modify a list.